I'd like to give all glory and praise and honor to the Most High. And, what we're going to be talking about today is, how all other nations of people are pretty much under, the spirit of folly, man. And I was reading the story of Bel and the dragon out of the Apocrypha. I was rereading it, I should say. And I was just laughing, and I was saying to myself, how did we let these people, how did the Israelites let these other nations conquer them, man? These other nations was just engaged in folly, man. Folly. So we're going to get into that today. We're going to be reading that. We're going to be pointing out some things and showing you, man, we really messed up when we disobeyed the Most High and let these other nations conquer us, man. And first we're going to get into the book of Jubilees and show you that, look, man, why, these other nations are under that spirit of deception, So we're going to get into it right now. So it's the book of Jubilees, chapter 15, verse 31 and 32. And it reads, "And he sanctified it and gathered it from amongst all the children of men. For there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his. And over all hath he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. But over Israel he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their ruler. And he will preserve them and require from them at the hand of his angels and his spirits, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may preserve them and bless them, and that they may be his and he may be theirs from henceforth forever," man. So you see, the Most High doesn't have any angels, appointed over Israel. He watches over them. And of course, yeah, you have angels that, watch us and things like that. But over the other nations, their spirits, he said their spirits that leads them astray from him, So this is why you see a lot of these, these other nations engaged in so much folly and false religions and, bowing down to idols and worshiping wood and stone. This is why a lot of them don't believe. And those of you that, are receiving this message or hearing this message, man, of, hey, the Most High is calling you to, to the truth. But as you can see, it says all the nations and peoples are his, but, it's certain spirits that lead them astray. If they don't want to hearken on to the truth, hey, they're going to be led astray. And that's what happened to the Israelites too. They didn't want to hearken on to the truth. So there were spirits that led them astray, from the Most High, man. But basically what it's saying right here in Jubilees is that, look, the Most High watches over us, man. There's no point any angel or spirit, over us. But the other nations do have them, man. And they're being led astray from him. Hey, this is the Most High. This is the Most High's. This is his script, man. This is his movie, man. So let's keep going. And hold up. This is why I was saying, also too, man, how did we fall off, man? How did we fall off from this? All these other nations was being led into folly. Worshiping wood and stone. And we followed them. And this is why I'm saying, look, the Israelites had all the wisdom from the jump. They had all of the knowledge. If they were going around the other nations, they was the ones that's supposed to influence them, not the other nations, putting their influence on the Israelites. But that's what happened. Oh man, so we're gonna get into Bel and the dragon, and we're gonna see the type of folly that these other nations were under. I mean, this is a good example. So this is the story of Bel and the dragon. This is cut off from the end of Daniel, So let's read. Zoom in a little bit more. And King Astagades was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his kingdom. So this right here is the king of the Medes right here. I mean, this is a king we talking about. I mean, and Daniel conversed with the king and was honored above all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and there were spent upon him every day 12 great measures of fine flour, 40 sheep, and 6 vessels of wine. So they ate. So they're putting food, in front of this this idol, whether it would be wood or stone. They spending a lot of money on it, putting food and flour, sheep, wine in front of this idol, and the king worshipped it and went daily to adore it. But Daniel worshipped his own God, the Most High. And the king said unto him, why dost thou not worship Bel? Who answered and said, because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God who hath created the heaven and earth, and has sovereignty over all flesh. Then said the king unto him, thinkest thou not that Bel is a living God? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day? Then Daniel smiled and said, O king, be not deceived, for this is but clay within and brass without, and did never eat anything, man. So let me start right there for a second. So Daniel's smiling, laughing at this guy. Keep in mind, this is a king over a nation of people that really thought that this statue, this idol, was eating the food. I'm not saying these nations were under folly, man. The Israelites had the wisdom, the real wisdom, they worshiping the true God. This is foolishness, man. You are king, and you really think that this wooden stone is eating up this up this food? Oh man, I should tell you, man, these other nations was under foolishness, man. This so Daniel is laughing at this guy, man. That's why Elijah was mocking those prophets in the scriptures when they was trying to call in their false idols, cutting themselves with with knives and lancets to make themselves bleed, so they could call upon their God. Elijah was laughing at them these guys are foolish, man. They were under folly. They said that's what the scripture says. Look, the Most High set spirits to lead them astray if they don't want to hearken unto the truth. Let's keep going. So the king was wroth and called for his priests and said unto them, if ye tell me not, who is this that devoured these expensive, ye shall die, man. Oh man. So pretty much what was happening too is look, the food was disappearing when they put it there. And the king really thought that the idol was eating it. And we're gonna find out, who was taking it. But if you can, verse 9, but if ye can certify me that Bel devoured them, then Daniel shall die, for he hath spoken blasphemy against Bel. And Daniel said unto the king, let it be according to thy word. Now the priests of Bel were 70, beside their wives and children. And the king went with Daniel into the temple of Bel. So Bel priest said, lo, we go out, but thou king, set on the meat and make ready the wine, and shut the door fast and seal it with thy own signet. So they're putting the food inside of the where the idol is, and look, they're gonna seal the door that nobody goes in there this time, and we're gonna see if that this idol is gonna really eating up the food by itself. Let's go verse 12. And to tomorrow when thou comest in, if thou findest not that Bel hath eaten up all, we will suffer death, or else Daniel that speaketh falsely against us. So hey, if that is either Daniel or dumb. Verse 13, then they little regarded it, for under the table they had made a privy entrance, whereby they entered in continually and consumed those things. So they had privy, they had a secret entrance, where they came on, once the door is locked, with the king sealed the door, they had another entrance where they would sneak under and grab the food. You know what I'm saying? So it would look like the idol's really eating it. Hey, the doors is locked and everything. The king sealed the door with his seal. But we're coming through a secret compartment and we're underneath and we're taking the food, Okay, so let's go verse 14. So when they were going forth, the king set meats before Bel. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and those were strewed throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then went out and shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet. So departed. Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, as they were wont not to do. And they did eat and drink all it up. So they came in the night privily through the secret compartment. In the morning, bedtime, the king arose and Daniel with him. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, yes. Yea, O king, they be whole. And as soon as he had opened the door, the king looked upon the table and cried out with a loud voice, great art thou, O Bel, and with thee is no deceit at all. This guy's a fool, man. This is a king over a people. Talking about great art thou, O Bel, man. Then laughed Daniel. Daniel's laughing at this guy, man. These guys are folly, man. Engaged in real folly. Foolishness, man. False idols. Then laughed Daniel and held the king that he should not go in, and said, behold, now the pavement, and mark well those footsteps are these. And the king said, I see footsteps of women and men. And then the king was angry. And the priests took their wives and their children and shewed him the privy doors where they came in, and consumed such things as were on the table. Therefore the king slew them and delivered Bel into Daniel's power, who destroyed him and his temple, man. Oh, man. So you see right then and there, what happened was, like, before, they sealed the door and everything, Daniel, he sprinkled ashes on the floor, So whoever was coming in, to take these meals after they sealed the door and everything, when the king came into the morning, he was going to see these ashes, the ashes disturbed, it was going to be footprints on the floor, meaning, like, look, somebody came in here and took those, and ate those meals, man. It wasn't just, it's idol eating it up. Somebody came in and actually ate these meals, and that's why he put the ashes on the floor. So these guys are foolish, man. These other nations are engaged in folly, man. And I mean, just reading this, I'm laughing like, yo, we really messed up, man. But I want to keep reading too, and I want to keep reading and kind of finish this, because I wanted to get into something that happens further on, in this same story, and it's more so about the subject of the chariots, because a lot of the Israelites, they talk about, the chariots is supposed to come pick us up, but it's something that happened here that made me think, like, look, man. Well, I'm gonna get into it once we hit it. So let's keep going. So verse 23, and in that same place there was a great dragon, which they of Babylon worship. And the king said unto Daniel, wilt thou also say, this is of brass? Lo, he liveth and eateth and drinketh, and thou cannot say that he is no living God, therefore worship him. So the king is asking Daniel, look, is this is this also, he's another idol? Is this idol right here another one? You know what I mean? Is he real? You know what I mean? Then Daniel said unto the king, I will worship the Lord my God, for he is the living God. But give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. The king said, I give thee leave. Then Daniel took pitch and fat and here, and did seethe them together, and made lumps therefore. This he put in the dragon's mouth, and so the dragon burst in sunder. And Daniel said, lo, these are the gods he worship. Hey, so the gods he worship, by wood and stone, look, he pretty much, he blew them up, man. I mean, it's nothing. Let's keep going. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king, saying, the king has become a Jew, and he had destroyed Bel, and he had slain the dragon and put the priest to death, man. So look, they getting mad. These people are getting mad because the king realized, like, look, this crap is not real, man. I mean, this is a king. I mean, this is a king of a people right now, man, that didn't know this. So they came to the king and said, deliver us, Daniel, or else we will destroy thee and thy house, man. I mean, sedition of men, they rising up against the king. Verse 30, now when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them, who cast him in the lion's den, where he was 6 days. And in the den there were 7 lions, and they had given, and in the den there were 7 lions, and they had given them every day 2 carcasses, 2 sheep, which were then not given to them, to the intent they might devour Daniel. I mean, So they're not feeding them no more, so they could eat, so they could devour him. Now there was a jury, a prophet called Habakkuk. This is the same Habakkuk in the Bible. You mean, this is the Apocrypha, but this is Habakkuk from the Bible. Who made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl and was going into the field for to bring it to the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, go, carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon and unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den. And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the lions, where the den is. You don't know? Habakkuk said, look, I don't know. I've never been to Babylon, and I don't know where the den is. Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the VSBC of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. You mean? And Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, take the dinner which the Lord has sent thee. And Daniel said, thou hast remembered me, O God, neither thou hast forsaken them that seek and love thee. So Daniel arose and did eat, and the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. So this is what I wanted to cover, man, about the angels, picking up Habakkuk and setting them in Babylon and right back. So my whole thing was like, if the angels could move this quick, if they could move this quick, man, if they could just pick you up and set you and teleport him to Babylon from one place to the next and put you right back, what would be the need for a chariot when the day of gathering? Because if it's angels that watch us 24/7, and if they could move this quick, just like that, what will be the need for a chariot? A chariot's coming in the sky. If the Most High has angels that watch us 24/7, and I mean, if they moving like this, if they just picked them up, he didn't know where it was, put him in Babylon in the den, and put him back where he was. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna stop right there, man. Just think about that. So yeah, man. I just had to think about that for a second. So you can see through these scriptures, man, in this story, that this was a king of a nation, man, and he really thought that this idol of wood and stone, or stone or wood, whichever one it was actually real, man, and that's foolishness, man. The fact that we got conquered by other nations that was engaged in these kind of things, it's sad, man, because like I said in the beginning, we had the knowledge, we had the truth, the wisdom, the books, from Enoch written all down about the truth, about how the earth runs, but now, we lost that, man, and then you have other nations of people now that have the truth, but they're holding it in unrighteousness. The scriptures talks about that, men who hold the truth in unrighteousness, why? So they can retain their power, and manipulate things behind the scenes. But yeah, I just wanted to, just do this little short lesson. Hopefully it was edifying. You can see that, man. Everything is folly, man. This is why, you got Scientology, all these other religions, Buddha, everything, man, is all folly. And a lot of people are engaged in these things, and these are spirits leading them astray, from the Most High, if they don't want to hearken onto the truth, man. So, all praises to the Most High, man.